Coming up in this episode, I'll look at some of the things that have sold so far in September, and I have some unfinished business to take care of. Hello and welcome once again to N Cubed. I am Brian, the Motley Mix Merchant. Thank you very much for dropping by. Glad to have you with me for this episode. First off, right off the bat, yes, it's gone. I just couldn't do it. Couldn't keep it up. Just didn't feel right. Haven't had one ever in my entire life. Just didn't feel right. So back to clean shaven. Whatever. Give something to try once in a while. This is a What's Sold episode. I'm going to go through about 10 things or so that have sold so far in the first half of September. But that's not all I've sold. It's been a great month so far. I have sold 26 items in the first 15 days today. And it's been busy. And they've been good items. Good average sales price, good average profit on all of them. So we'll get to that in a second. But first, I have a little bit of unfinished business to go over. Reminded of such by a comment in my last episode. About 2 episodes ago now, maybe even 3, I asked for a little bit of help because I had a haul and I wasn't sure exactly what something was. And it was this. It is this tiny little trinket box, which you can see has the crown and the scepter and the sword on the top. Right there they are. I had an idea sort of what it was, but I wasn't exactly sure. So I asked for some help, got a very good lead through a comment on that video, and I did some more research thanks to Mama Google. And I got a lot of information about it. So what this is, just so I can finish it off and let everybody know exactly what it is. The lid comes off. This is called a Victorian fairing trinket box. It's made of ceramic, made by a company called Conta and Boehme, B-O-E-H-M-E, but I'm pretty sure it's pronounced Boehme. They're out of Germany at the time. This was made in the mid-1800s, 1840 to 1860. Now, the reason it's called a fairing box is because fairing is spelled F-A-I-R-I-N-G. These days, we get plush toys when we win games at the county fair or at the carnival. Back in the mid-1800s in Victorian times, this is what you got when you won a game at the fair. That's why it's called a fairing trinket box. They had all kinds of these different styles, different lids. A lot of the bodies are the same, but the lids have different styles on them. This one has the royal stuff on it. Now, Conta and Boehme, even though they were from Germany, most of their stuff came to England. And they had a monopoly, apparently. They pretty much had a monopoly on providing these kinds of trinket boxes for all the fairs all over Europe until about the late 1800s, 1870 to 1880 is when other companies such as Staffordshire started making them themselves. But that was very interesting, how the reason why it's called what it's called and how old it is. And it brings up something that I've thought about a lot lately, and we even discussed it at the auction house when we were working the other day. Sometimes, and I leave a comment below if this ever happens to you, because it's happening to me a lot lately. Maybe it's because I'm getting old. I look at this and I think about when this was made. This item in my hands is 170 years old. That just freaks my mind out sometimes. Does it ever come to your mind when you're dealing with some of your antiques and your older items, just how old something is, and the fact that it has made it to 2020, even if it's made it through 2020, I won't get into that, but the fact of how old some of the items are that we're dealing with when we're dealing with antiques and that kind of thing, I just sometimes really, really think about it, and it's like shocking to me sometimes how things have survived as long as they have, especially something ceramic from the mid-1800s. I just am flabbergasted sometimes, and it's a fun feeling to have when you're dealing with things, and when you find out about things, like I found out about the trinket box, it's very, very cool in the end. So there you go. So for anybody who was wondering from 2 or 3 episodes ago, it's a Victorian fairing trinket box made by a German company, and it's what you won when you were a winner at the fair. So that's wrapped up. Let's move on now. It is time to go through what sold on eBay in the first 2 weeks of September. Today is September 15th, my 6-month anniversary of getting laid off from the casino for our, quote, 2-week break to help flatten the curve. 6 months later, we're still waiting to see what's going to happen. So it's been a great month, as I mentioned. 26 items in 15 days, good prices, good profit, and let's get to it, shall we? Starting off with the Jacqueline Kent dolls. I think I showed one to you in my last haul episode. It was a great big box with 2 brand new Christmas Caroler dolls in the box, brand new in the box. I got them for $10 Canadian and $15 Canadian for the 2 of them. Well, I sold one last week for $40 US plus another $15 for the shipping, which just barely was enough to cover the shipping. It was a big box in the end. And then the day I shipped the first one, the same buyer sent me an offer for a slightly lower price, and I sold the second one to the same buyer for $37. So my $25 Canadian investment turned into a $77 US sales total to one buyer, which is almost exactly $100 Canadian. So that's a pretty good return on that investment. I'm very happy. I knew I had to pay up for them, but I knew they were going to be profitable in the end, and very happy to see those going to one buyer in Virginia, I do believe. Well, I sold the last pair of blue high-waisted coach's shorts. If you remember, way back last October, November, I picked up that basket full of sports clothing. Well, this was the last pair of gym shorts. I call them coach's shorts because it's the kind of shorts that a gym coach will wear with the high waist and the pockets on the front and back, and reminds me of those coaches from the movies in the 1980s. But sold that for $20 with free shipping, and that was the last pair of the shorts. There's still lots more on the website, and actually some more stuff. While I was looking for the shorts in the basket, I found some more things that I have to list, so I'll get them up there sometime soon. I sold this beautiful Royal Chelsea cabbage rose plate. It was a large 9.5-inch dinner plate. And the reason I bring this one up, I sold it for a beautiful $40 plus $13 for the shipping. This is one of the items that I found in my lost box that I found in my storage room when I was doing a little bit of cleaning about a week and a half ago. It was just there's a pile of plates in there. I've got 3 more big platter type plates that I have to list. So one's Noritake, another one's Royal Stafford, I think. But I decided to list the Royal Chelsea one after looking up the comps on this pattern. And sure enough, it didn't take long, maybe 3 days. And somebody had offered me $40 when I listed it at $45, and I took that for sure. So always make sure you know where your stuff is, and your death pile, your unintentional death pile, try and find it, because it just might turn out to be something very profitable. I've had that for 8-9 months, and I have no idea how much I paid for it or where I got it, but I'm sure it was from an auction house somewhere. This very cute pink ceramic duck was sold for a nice $25 profit. This was from my huge ceramic and glass haul from July. I mean, this item overall cost me 50 cents maybe, and a nice $25 return. $13 towards the shipping because it was a Canadian buyer, and of course, Canada Post being a little more expensive than the U.S. Postal Service, added on a little bit, and it's already at their house, and they liked it apparently. This was beautiful. An Alexander Backer Chalkware Buddha. Alexander Backer is a very well-known statue maker from the United States, and I got this in the same purchase back in July when I picked up all those things from the Max Sold auction. This sold for $42 plus another $13 for the shipping, and I was surprised when I looked up Alexander Backer, how well known Alexander Backer was for the statues, and the fact this was the only Buddha statue that I could find, both sold and listed at the time. Maybe some more out there now, but that's why I think it was able to get such a good price. $42 was a pretty good price for that statue from Alexander Backer and Company. All right, well, remember when I did the last What Sold episode, I talked about the Angry Birds plushes that I had started to sell, that one of them had sold for an amazing $85 after I paid $2 for it at the local Goodwill. Well, that wasn't the end of the story. I sold the other two big ones that I had to the same buyer in Las Vegas. Dahlia and Gale were the other two. Dahlia sold for $65 and Gale sold for $55. Free shipping on those two. I put them together, combined them in one box, and did free shipping on those in the listings because I knew they weren't going to cost much. They weren't very heavy at all. So my 3 Angry Bird plushes, the larger ones, that cost me $2 a piece, $6 Canadian total, returned to me $205 US, all told, once the 3 of them sold. I still have 3 small ones that I'm trying to sell, and the small ones, 2 of them have the sound effects with them. I just got an offer today on one of the smaller ones, counter offered slightly bit higher because it's a Canadian one, going to cost me a little more in shipping. So I can't believe my luck and how lucky I got with those Angry Birds and the plushes. And another reason why I say I love my plushes each day and every day. I'll take it all the time. Here's something that's interesting, and it's a Bolo shout out. If you ever see unused, still factory sealed media, I'm talking cassette tapes, VHS tapes, CD-ROMs, that kind of thing. I just sold an open box, unused CD-ROM case. It was one of those towers, as you can see here. It was one of those towers. I think it started off with probably 60 in the tower, or maybe even 100, but there were 54 of them left or something like that. I sold those CD-ROMs for $16 plus $8 towards the shipping. That was something that was never going to get used in our house, something that would probably have been donated to the Goodwill if I hadn't bothered to put it up on eBay, and it brought me $16. I mean, that was purchased 15 years ago probably, but people still use them. People still need them, especially VHS tapes, CD-ROMs, and blank audio cassettes with the factory seal still on them. Absolutely pick them up anytime you see them at the Goodwills or at the thrift stores or at yard sales or whatever, and they will sell. If you put the right price on them, at least they will sell. Look for new sealed media. This was cute. This was, I don't even remember where I got this, just in a box of bottles. It may have been from the big lot back in July. It was a Farmer's Dairy milk bottle. Just said Farmer's Dairy on the side, so a nice generic milk bottle. Sold for $20 plus another $10 towards the shipping. So, you know, I can't even remember hardly where I got that from, but it didn't last long on the store, maybe a month. And $20, a good price to get back for a single milk bottle. Milk bottles and collectible bottles and vintage bottles, they absolutely sell as well. So things to be on the lookout for. That's something else. I meant to say this at the beginning, and I try to every time I do a What's Sold episode. I and other YouTubers don't do these What's Sold episodes to brag. We really don't. It's to show you what's selling on eBay or whatever other platform they are using. And so you can be on the lookout for these kinds of things when you're doing your thrifting or you're buying at thrift stores or garage sales or auctions or wherever. So I'm not trying to brag. We never try to brag when we're doing this kind of thing. I do get happy sometimes and smiley when I show you some of the bigger things that I sell, but it's also only to show you what is selling so that you in turn can find the same kinds of things, or if you have already in your house, you know it's worth some money and you can sell it. All right, carrying on. A couple more things to go. This one's another one I got way back, probably January or November of last year. It was a tennis racket with a cover on it, but the tennis racket was almost brand new. There were 3 scuffs, maybe max, on the top of the racket, so it had probably been used once or twice. That's it. It was in great shape, and it was a Schlesinger, well-known championship type design. It sold for $25 plus $13 for the shipping going to Oklahoma. That one went to. Big box, but shocked me how, because it was light, it was only 2 pounds total, 2.5 pounds in the box. So didn't cost me too much, even though it was a big box to ship a tennis racket all the way to Oklahoma from Western New York. So, but that was a great return, $25. Again, that was probably one of those tables that I bought at my local auction house when I got the full tables full of stuff for $5. So, you know, cost to me less than $1. So it was great. And the ladies' hats just keep on giving. If you remember, I got a full table of ladies' hats last October or so, and there was 50-something hats on there. I've probably sold about 15 or so of the 50 now, if not 20, and they're all going in the $15 to $20 range. This one sold for $17 with free shipping. Nice, big, fluffy, blue, soft one, perfect as winter starts to head into different areas of the country. So the hats keep giving, and I spent, what did I spend? $3 for that entire table, and it's paying off in spades. It's been absolutely amazing. Let me do a quick double check of my list, make sure I've talked about everything. I think I have. It's been a very good month, and it's just in this. I'm going to move back over. In my version of thrifting and reselling, where you buy things that are one-offs and collection completers and collector's items and that kind of thing, it's been a really good month. I know it's not going to be the kind of sales that somebody who has new toys is going to have as we head into the fourth quarter here, but this has been great. I think last September I only sold 30 items total for the entire month, and I've already sold 26 items now in the first half of the month. And I know it's because I have almost 3 times as many items in my store. I passed 600 active items in my store over the weekend, this past weekend. And as long as I keep on listing, it seems I keep on getting the views and keep on getting the sales. So I'm definitely going to keep on listing for the foreseeable future. I've got a couple auction things that I picked up this past Sunday. Really nice Sam Brown belts, if you know what those are. Some ceramic decanters. And so I've got things to list, and I'm going to keep busy at it. If you got anything out of this video, I ask if you please hit the like button down below. It does help the YouTube algorithm pass it on to others who are looking for this kind of thing. And if you would like to follow along with all of my adventures as a Canadian eBay reseller and auction hunter, by all means, please hit the subscribe button down below, then hit the bell to be notified every time a new episode is uploaded. Thank you very much for dropping by for this episode. I'm off now to do some more listing tonight, and I wish you all very much the best as you continue on with your thrifting. Stay safe, wear your masks, so I can see you right here once again for another episode of M Cubed very soon. Bye for now, everybody. Cheers.